Copper Sun by Sharon Draper, Chapter 19, Peaches and Memories. One dusty afternoon, about a week later, Teeny called to Tidbit, "Go fetch me some peaches for my pie, boy, and take these two gals with you. Y'all look like you could use some fresh air." Tidbit jumped at the opportunity to stop shelling peas and motioned to the girls to hurry before Teeny changed her mind. Apples, peaches, and plums grew abundantly on the plantation, as well as dozens of vegetables that Amari had never seen. Amari followed the boy down the path, looked up at the same coppery hot sun that used to warm her in her homeland, and breathed in the fresh air thankfully. Tidbit climbed high into the branches of the first peach tree he came to. It was thick with sweet fruit. His job was to toss the fruit down to Amari and Polly, who carried baskets. But instead of gently handing it down, he laughed and threw the peaches like weapons, smashing the soft fruit against their heads. Hush Puppy barked crazily at the bottom of the tree, chasing the peaches and even eating some of them. "Stop, Tidbit!" Polly cried with laughter. "Your mama's going to get you for wasting food." "Polly, Polly, peach pie," Tidbit chanted from the tree. Amari had grown to love having the boy around. It was almost like Quasi's spirit had found her in this strange new world. "Climb down for that tall tree, my little one," she said in her own language. Tidbit shimmied to the ground, a peach in each hand, and looked at her strangely. "That African talk?" he asked. Amari nodded. "My mama be telling me stories about Africa all the time, but she do it when ain't nobody else listening." "Where Africa be?" the boy wanted to know. "Far away, over ocean, under sky," she replied in English. "What does it look like?" Polly asked. It looked like bright colors, like happy sunshine, family, chickens, and goats. Not need much." Amari smiled softly, thinking back to the green seas of grass that she and Tirza had ran through as girls, the red and green screaming jacana birds that awakened her, the annoying little monkey that would whisk into the village and steal papayas when her mother turned her back, the smell of the wood fire in front of her hut. She wanted to explain how right everything felt in a place where she was surrounded by mischievous children, overbearing cousins, and doddering elders who were all a part of her. The storytellers who had absorbed her history, the villagers who breathed the same air and dreamed the same memories, all of them were Black. She did not have the words to express the depth of her loss. "Everybody Black. Feel good," was all she said. Amari remembered the utter safety she felt as a child in her village, knowing that if she fell down and skinned her knee, any woman close by would dry her tears, put a little mud on the wound, and send her on her way with a hug. "Little boys like me be there?" Tidbit asked, with genuine curiosity. "I had a brother," she said slowly, "little older than you be. Happy boy with laugh like gold." She had to close her eyes at the thought of Quasi. "Where he be now?" Tidbit asked innocently. Amari's face crumbled. "Dead," she said. Tidbit looked at her and nodded with a look of almost adult understanding. The three of them were silent for a few minutes, the only sound being the trilling of warblers and swallows. Tidbit then asked Polly, Where you was before you come here?" Polly looked thoughtful. "I grew up not far from here, in the low country. I remember moving from place to place and never having enough money, but that never bothered my parents. They doted on each other, but I was their shining star." Amari was thankful Polly spoke slowly so she could follow along. "What that mean?" Tidbit asked. "You know how your mama looks at you just before you go to sleep? That worried look when you stay out with Hush Puppy too long?" The boy nodded. "That's how my mama and daddy loved me." Amari understood as well, but it surprised her. She'd never really thought about Polly's loss or grief. She just figured that because Polly was a white girl, her life had to have been easier. Polly looked into the distance and kicked at the tree trunk. "My mother told me once that she wanted to be a lady, somebody who wore lace and rode in a fancy carriage. But it never happened," she mumbled. "So she wished it for me." Amari wasn't sure of every single word, but she knew Polly missed her mother. She reached over and touched Polly's hand. She was surprised that Polly didn't jerk away. "You ever going back to Africa?" Tidbit asked Amari. "No," Amari replied quietly and sadly, and she knew that it was forever true. Tidbit nestled against her as if he understood her sorrow. The two girls, accompanied by an unusually quiet Tidbit, walked back to Teeny's kitchen in silence. They delivered the peaches to Teeny and returned to their chores without a comment.